Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to a Solitaire mystery. 20 weird solitaires. I might have said a different number last time, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's 20. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's move on to number 3, the Eldritch Invasion. Defeat 16 Eldritch monsters by matching them up with appropriate cards. Features a special deck with more esoteric suits. Moons, knives, books, and candles. This is it's a mere 2-star. No problem. Plus, I've been training for this. These cards are actually very rad. Okay, so how does this one work? Defeat 16 monsters by matching them with cards of equal value. When a monster card is on top of one of the 4 middle slots, it'll jump to an open monster slot. If there are no open monster slots available, you lose. Every monster slot has 2 attack slots next to it. When the monster slot is filled, you can place any number card in the attack slots. If the combined value of the 2 cards is equal to the value of the monster is defeated. All 3 cards are discarded. An ace is normally a value 1, but when it's in an attack slot, its value becomes 7 for a monster of matching suit. In order to complete the solitaire, you will need to use at least 1 ace matching suit with a monster. The number cards are stacked and moved in ascending/descending order of alternating suit. The number order can change mid-stack. So 4-3-2-3 is a valid stack and is movable, right? That is movable as a single group, if I'm understanding. Okay. So we got here a fellow. Are all the monsters... No, okay, they're not all... Okay, never mind. So... The cards don't need to be of the same suit. We don't get any benefit from the cards being of the same suit unless they are aces. And is it equals or equals to or greater than? Combined value is equal. I guess if you would want to be on equals anyway, right? Because if you start doing if you start overpaying to defeat monsters, you're going to find yourself in a tricky position pretty quickly. So let's move this out. Can I not? Wait, is that not a valid top space? Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to pick up the rules. Sorry, y'all. I was just thinking that the next monster up was a 12, and we had a 3 and a 9 together to lay it out with very quickly. But that's fine. We'll get to it. So a lot of high value cards to start with. Actually have, yeah, I need to find some lower value cards or some higher value monsters, right? Stacked and moved in ascending /descending order of alternating suit. Alternating suit. Huh, okay. So we can stack a 7 of blades on a 7 of candles. Or on a 6 of candles. We have a 9 here. It's like, this is not valid as a stack because even though they are adjacent values, they are the same suit. And yeah, that over there is not actually a place to put cards. That's where the deck came from, but it's not a live spot. So can cards just live in the, well, okay, not all the time, but sometimes cards can just live in the attack zone. So the adjacent cards still have to be adjacent values. It's not like this works fine if I put this here. Okay, now we found ourselves a 3, so we can place a 3 and a 9 to scoop that dude. Okay, that's the big dead monster pile is what that is for. All right. So I would need, actually, this is kind of perfect. Oh, no, wait, that's 15. What am I talking about? 7. The ace becomes 7 when it is the same suit as the monster. So we need a 7 and a 4 here. Again, struggling with all these high values. We could certainly kill this guy off, and I suppose maybe I should just go for that. It's actually not. I was gonna play these. Can I? Okay, I can rearrange these a little bit. Because obviously we have an 8 and a 2 there for him. Great big skull face. I'm really eager to spend an ace on suit just so that we know that we're good. So is that a yeah, it's a 13. Okay. Uh, 7 to 12. I mean, we're doing all right so far. I agree with them that this one seems a little bit easier than the previous ones. It is an interesting variant though. All right, so we're starting to dig down to some lower values that'll be helpful when fighting these monsters, but I still need to find. So we need another like 5, or I need to find us some bigger monsters. Okay, we reveal a 10 there and then a 3. And then we have like 2s and stuff underneath. That's actually pretty helpful. Let's get this guy out. And then our on-suit ace is a million miles away, unfortunately. But we can just go ahead and put down a 10. That's fine. 2 on the ace. Let's say, because that's 13, right? So this lets me get my on-suit ace out there. 13 to clear that monster, and now in theory we know we have enough like overall numerical power remaining. We don't have to be quite so nervous about it. I'm inclined to just go ahead and throw a 4 in here. These are some spooky, kind of spooky monsters, right? So we have a 3, we have a 5. I have this other ace under here that I'd love to get in with that, but I just spent a 4, and I don't know where the rest of my 4 is at. There's one here. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to handle it that way. I'll just give it the 6 and the 7. We've been sitting on those for a while. All right, so our ace here. Actually, we can just play the 3 and the ace directly off this stack to clear that. That's a neat illustration. And actually, it lends itself very well to a 9 and a 2. Do we want to... We're trying to make a 13 next. So we have 5, 6, 8. I mean, obviously, it doesn't actually matter which 2 we take as far as clearing this goes. I'm sure they tried it with the suits mattering more for clearance. Oh, that's a 9, not an 8. What am I doing? Well, I mean, we could just play 9 and... Oh no, this is a 12. 9 and 3 would be the answer. let's see here. What am I trying to unleash? Got another 9, so I really do need some. I need some low values again, and unfortunately, they are distant. Is that an 8? Oh, it's a monster. It's a 13, right? I guess we may as well let it out. Like, as long as there are monsters live, as long as you're not in danger of overflowing yourself, monsters just open up places to put cards aside, right? So it's 13, 13, 12. I need to start actually meeting the math on these. So you have an 8 under there. And 6s and 2s. So like we need the 8 and the 5, right? Those won't stack because they're the same suit. Damn it. But I really need this 5. Well, we can just pull this down here for the moment. Oh, because this is a 9. What am I doing? I was going to pull this card out, but the only place we could put it is on the 8, and we need that 8. Okay. Again, pretty good monster illustration. At a mere 11, we can meet you with 9 and 2. Then I have an awkward set of values left. Are there monsters left that are... Yeah, there are a couple of monsters left that are Moonsuit. Let's move this over to here. Just play the 4 to get it out of the way, and then blow up a monster with it and the ace. And we're very close to clear on these monsters. I guess we can actually take an 8 and a 4 now. So we're gonna put this here. You're gonna get probably an offsuited ace. So 8 and 4 clears that monster, gets the last monster in the pool. And then, yeah, I think I'm just gonna take 9 and offsuit ace for this one. And then, yeah, we just gotta make 12 and 13. I mean, here certainly is 12. Do we have... With an 8 to start with, yeah. 13's easy. We end up with 4 cards left because we managed to use a lot of on-suit aces. That's interesting, and I like obviously the card designs and card art are a lot of fun, but yeah, not super challenging. I like how exploratory this feels though. I bet Amabel will find this to be a really interesting collection. Alright, Transmutation, one of the larger ideas for this collection. You can and must combine cards to create new ones with higher number values than what you would otherwise have available. Inspired by Fortune's Foundation by Zachtronics. Playable with a standard deck, in theory, yes, but you need about 254 different cards. Alright, let's see a 4-star difficulty here. So, standard 52 card deck. Cards with the suns are the aces. Cards are stacked and moved in ascending order in ascending and descending in alternating suit. Order can change mid-stack. The triangle in the bottom right corner can be used to combine cards. Place 2 cards in the bottom slots and you'll get their combination in the top. A combined card can't be combined again, and they can be stacked as any suit once they're combined. Goal is to pile cards from 1 to 26 on the red slot on the right. Suits don't matter, only number value. You can switch the Roman numerals into Arabic numerals in the settings menu if you need to do that. I think I'm going to be okay. I think. We saw in that last game, I am maybe sometimes a little slow to read once we start getting like 4 characters in a number. But I think I'm gonna be okay. So we gotta produce. Does it say we're stacking them from 1 to 26? Suit doesn't matter, only the number value. And presumably, you know, in order. So we need to get ourselves to a 1 to start with. That's the first big important thing. So we can start stacking suits a little bit here. We can get you onto a 9. I have an 11 here, which is a little awkward. But like this 4, 5, 6 will run as a suit. And we can pile that onto this 3. So if we're trying to connect this to something, we don't necessarily have to go find a 10. We could generate ourselves a 10, right? And we'll need one eventually anyway. But I guess you want to be careful about generating cards that are already within your, within like the range of existence, because cards cannot be again combined. So this stack that we've generated here, let me move this aside for the moment. I can't put that on there because we need alternating suits. We can do this. Stacking cards on top of the ace that we're going for in a very smart and intelligent manner. Yeah, we need to find a 12 to dump things on. And then I still have to peel a few more cards off of this after that. There are a couple of 12s. There's a 12 all the way over here. So with this 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, what am I going to do with you? I guess this is a place to put the cards once we have the 12. Yeah, let me pull this aside. Add the 2 to this stack. And then that way we can grab this at the 11, stack it to the 12, and then move it all onto that 13. And that's got a lot of stuff out of the way then. This 11 can squeeze onto this 10. 7 fits onto the stack we were building over here. And then so does the 6. Okay, we get ourselves an Aegis. And the suit of our cards going onto here doesn't matter at all. So we have a 2 available there. Obviously, we have a 2 available here. I guess I don't really have an easy way of... But, you know, with this stack having been built in this order, obviously we don't have an easy way of accessing that. The other 2s are... There's one pretty deep in that stack. I mean, this isn't so bad. We should be able to get to this. So in fact, we got a 10, 9 can just stack on top of this 11. You can be added here, and there's a 2 and a 3, and that's a 6. How am I going to free a 4? We're pretty close to being able to sort of like run down a pretty large number of cards here. I can pick up this stack at the 5 and drop it on this 6, and then we can eat this 4. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Easy. All right. Should I have made sure that I had a plan for the future math before doing that? I don't know. Maybe. But here's where we're at now. So, 13. I need to generate a 14. We have here 6 and an 8, which feels like we want to be combining those kinds of cards, right? We want to save like using 11s and stuff for when we're trying to generate the cards that are in the 20s. But I guess there's so many low numbered cards. Yeah, actually, thinking about it, maybe it was a bad idea to use like naturally occurring 7, 8, 9, 10 when I could easily have mixed 7, 8, 9, 10 and used then the natural 7, 8, 9, 10s to do combinations with. I wonder if it's going to turn out that it's necessary. I'm having a bad feeling. All right, let's try to push on. So we need a 15 next. We have a 7 right here. There's a 4 there. I mean, I would love to combine a 7 and an 8 if we can do that. We do have an 8 there, and I can just pull this stack. Like maybe let's just go ahead and grab these. We have a fair number of high value cards left. I'm trying not to panic too early. All right, 16. We're gonna need 7, 9 here. Six, 5, 6, 12. Like there's a 7. There's a 7 all the way at the bottom of this. All right. 9 plus 7 might not be a good way to approach this one. Is 6 plus 10 reasonable? How easy is it for us to get? Here, hold on. Let me place those there because that way we can have an empty slot here for stack breaking. I mean, 13 plus 3 is really easy. Right, I can just take the 13 plus 3 off the top of this stack. It's a little scary to spend a 13, but... Alright, so now we're looking for 17, which is going to be... 9 plus an 8, I think. Pretty sure the way I want to approach that. All right. Then we have, we just have 10 and 8 showing. Wait, what did I just do? I made it 22 because I was clicking stuff without paying enough attention to what I was clicking on. Here, let me find a spot for my 22. Maybe I should have turned off the Roman numerals. Okay. So sorry, we're trying to make an 18. This is an 11. I think I must have just combined 2 11s. That's a 23 even. So I have a 6 here. There's a 7 down there to go with our 11. That's pretty awkward. The 9, we have another 11 here. And unfortunately, we have like a lot of buried high value cards on this side, so I'm a little worried about when we get to that part. How are we going to get down there? Okay, do I have... I can play this 5 over to this 4. And we can drop 6 plus 12 to make the 18. I really don't want to be spending so many 12s, but I guess like at this point... it's getting close to difficult to avoid. Yeah. Alright, a legitimate 18. 19, I think 10 and 9 works just fine there. Very cool looking. For the 20, we have... I mean, I have just 11 and 9 showing. Yeah, I mean, that feels perfectly reasonable as an approach. There's 21. I have to get to 26. I think I'm going to turn out... I think it's going to turn out that I spent too many high value cards because we needed to be alchemizing for some of these lower value cards. 26 is a long fucking way away. So 22 is going to be... like, it's already the case that no number lower than 9 is useful. Right? So I have an 11, I have a 12. That's a 13. Never mind. So we don't have another 9 left. So this is gonna have to be 12 plus 10 or 11 plus 11. And we don't have 2 11s left. Right? Yeah. No, we don't. And we don't have any 10s left, so I can't do 12 plus 10 either. So yeah, I booted it. Okay. Okay. An interesting point. I started things up without considering, like, once you get past 1, you don't really need 1s anymore. And so it's like, it's very tempting to start right there and just like combine 2 1s for your 2, unless all your 1s are buried like this. But now we know. Now we know and can hopefully execute some strategy. This is going to be a tough stack to start breaking down. I guess if I pull this 3, put a 12 on the 11, that lets me put the 3 right back up on the 2, which is nice. And then we can put another... I know I can't. Suits. We have a 1 that's like theoretically very accessible. But only theoretically. Alright, let's move these down. Stick this 5 on this 4, on this 3, and then this 5 on this 4 to start our stack. I am not opposed to just using a 2 as our 2, right? Because 2 is so low. But we are going to want to start combining pretty soon. So I should probably actually just like write this down a little bit. Like, let me grab, we're going to need, in the end, for the final number, we're going to need 2 13s, right? So we got to set 2 13s aside for the final play. And then also, a 13, and a 12 for the 25. So our 13s are like sacred until the very end. I suppose one thing we can do too is we don't have to wait until the very end to start doing our combines. If we want to have a stack of cards that is 26 at the bottom, and then like place stuff on it as we have the opportunity to build it, that actually might help me keep it straight. Because then we have a 24, and that 24 theoretically could be made up of a 13 and an 11, but if it is, it's our last 13. Or it could be two 12s, and if that's the case, then we've used 3 of our 12s already. So yeah, this stuff bears some extremely careful approach, actually. All right. That being the case, let's try to focus down here a little bit. So gosh, we have a lot of 5s exposed on the top. Did I kind of fuck this up already? Are we in like a bad spot? I can move these onto here. And then we can set a card in the machine, right? Can I pull cards from the machine directly out? Yes. Okay. That's something. It's probably not even a big deal to use like up to a natural 5. But maybe it's not a good idea. It's just like, at this point, it's a thing I would be doing because it's convenient. Here, let's use this natural 5. I'm gonna pull this out of the machine, and let's start being a little bit more careful. So 2 7s and an 8 showing. If we're trying to add to 6, like, where are my really low value cards? We have a 2 3 and a 1 and a 1 and a 2. So a lot of really low value stuff is buried. There's a 2 right here that's pretty close to the top that we could combine with a 4. Which I probably have one of somewhere. Oh yeah, our 4s are like in this stack. I mean, I guess there's a 4 right under it. Maybe that would be fine. Okay. Then you play a natural 7. I'd prefer to combine for my 7. We can grab a 3 from here and a 4 from there, maybe? If I can find a spot to do a little storage here. Here, we can move this 8-7 onto that 8-7. Go. All right, so are we looking at 5-3 for the next one, or 3's pretty buried? We have access to a single 4 very easily. We should have more 4s than that, though, right? We didn't spend all of our 4s. Maybe I did. Okay. So okay, we have a 2 way down here that we can match with this 6. Yeah, it's getting a little harder. It's getting a little harder to drag these together. And we just have like a lot of middling value cards right now. that over there. I guess I'm not totally uncool with a 1+7. Draining more 1s out of the deck is good, but obviously 7s are also versatile. Next up is a 9. So we're getting close to unleashing a couple of these really high numbers. Like, where is... Okay, there's a 12 under here. So actually, if these were... Right. If these were not the same suit, this would be a stack I could just pick up. Actually, this stacks, though. And I can put this on a 10. We can pull this 12 for here, which allows us to pull this 11 for here. And a lot of what I'm looking at here is just trying to get a couple of 13s free so I can make my 26 and just hold it. So this is a valid stack through 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9. Or maybe we stick it over here even. Because now we have a 26 that we can make. We're still also, trying to use this space to build in. Maybe devoting a stack to cards that will be dead until a while from now is not such a great idea. It's possible. Do I want to just combine 4 and 5 for the 9? I think that's probably okay. All right. The 10. We have a 5. We have a couple of 6s. I mean, I can actually move all this stuff onto there. Remarkably, I can do this. And then, like, this Terra is just kind of dead letters garbage, right? I don't think I want to be combining a 1 and a 9 to make a 10. I think the 9 has too much value for that. So, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm being silly. I do want to be burning 1s, obviously. One thing I'm not doing is keeping track of what's burned. And I do definitely see how that could come back to bite me in the ass later. In case you were wondering, I think a 5 and a 6 to make the 11 is like just perfect. I couldn't really be upset about that. There's 6, 7, 8, 7. So like pulling this 7 to merge with this 5 or something, I think is pretty reasonable. So I put the 5 down. We can put this. That's a 6 and an 8. What am I talking about? This is not actually very good. This thing that I have just done. This is an error. Okay. I can change how I've separated these and maybe make myself. Is there going to be a clean way? We got 2 left, but unfortunately it's the same suit as the 3 that we have open, so I can't like move these around very easily. So this is in, we're looking for a 12. But I'm having a hard time finding my way to the 7. I need to be able to move something onto something else. And right now, that's very awkward. Right now, that's a real challenge. I could combine a head here. And I don't think that's too helpful. Alright. Anywhere that I break this pile is going to be slightly wrong, right? Because like what we have open is a 10, so I can put a 9 or an 11 on that, but obviously that's not going to produce. It's not going to produce the 7 that we need. If I break on a 9, what's going to be left on the stack is an 8. Yeah, it is a real shame that the combined cards don't sit well with the. It can't be recombined. It just makes some things challenging. So like we have some 6s over here where I could at least move the 5 back out if I could access them. 6s or I think we've spent all the 4s, right? I don't immediately see any. Because I can grab a 13 off the top of this, and then we're like really close. Close is not good enough though. I think what we are going to have to do here is just combine ahead a little bit. Like I'm going to have to make a 15 or something. It's frustrating. Well, okay, so if I do it like this, and we pull an 8, we make a 13. An extra 13 doesn't sit particularly well with our stacks. We need it to be a 14 or a 12 to sit cleanly with the other 13. And like this 2 and 3 are just going to be problems for a while. These are actually like really awkward cards now. If I made this into an 8, we could. If I made like the 3 and the 5 into an 8, we could at least weave it back into the stacks a little bit. Right? There's something we said for that. Although maybe a 7 actually sits a little bit better. Just like trying to get rid of it. Okay, so now we need to produce a 12 successfully this time. And the best way we have to do that is going to be like 3 and 9 is not terrible, but we have a hard time producing a 9. We have 9s in our stack, but we can't get them out easily because we have to break the stack to the 9s. Well, actually, sorry. Here's a spot where Because we have an exposed 11, we can break the stack at the 10. Ah, but there's only one 10 in that stack, and it runs. Unfortunately, it does not run the correct way from there. And I can't place the whole stack on the thing here. We can change which 10 we're sitting on, except we can't sit on this one, obviously. How to free a 9 from the hell I have placed it in. It's actually almost like if I could get to the 1, it's almost easier to do just like a 1 and 11. We spent the 2, so 10 and 2 is off the table. 9 and 3, we don't have any 4s left. And burned all the 5s. We have A6 and A6. So, okay, I mean, we can work with that, right? So, with this not being able to combine, will it allow me to place another card in here with it? Yeah, without burning the other card. That's interesting. That's kind of cool. So we have another 6 right here. But I don't have a place to put this 7. Well, sorry, I can do that, and then I can use this 6. There we go. Okay. 13. You know what? Honestly, I will just take 3 and 10. That's fine. Brew myself a 13. Alright. 14. So we'd like to do some like mid-level, like a 7 and a 7 would be great. So can I excavate these 7s? Well, we finally got this 3. Like, we finally got ourselves another slot, which is going to be hugely, hugely helpful. So let me run this over here. I actually don't hate the idea of just going, like, hey, let's just 8 and 6 it. Right? Yeah. Okay. And then 7 plus 8. And then 7 plus 9 or 8 plus 8. Okay. Now I need a 17. We've got an 8 showing here really easily. I think this is like perfectly fine. And for 18, this 10 and this 8. Just combined to 10 and I... Those were not the cards I wanted to combine. How bad is that? It's pretty bad. I'll put you... Nope, that's also a 7. Shit. No, that's pretty bad to have just... Can I... Hold on, what did I... There's absolutely a 13 and a 10. What is going on in my brain? So I need to... Where did this 13 come from? Okay, 13 was the top of that stack. Here's what happened. I grabbed this looking at that value. Okay. I was trying to figure out what the hell did I even do there? And there it is. So... how do I get access to the 7 that I actually want to use for this? I mean, any 7 will do. I guess No, that's not true. Obviously, this one won't. So yeah, I need to put this 13 somewhere, and we're having this very awkward problem where 3 of my 12s are in this stack. Shit's gonna have to start breaking down a little bit differently. Okay, good news is we can do this. Well, that's the wrong 12 to leave open. Ah, that doesn't... Stupid suits. Having a lot of suits trouble right now. This leaves a 12 open. I can build that onto. And then we just need to take any 10 here. Oh my god, what am I doing? Hold on. An 8 and a 10. An 8 and a 10 is what I was trying to do. And I managed to spend all that time getting a 7. Well, a 7 and an 11 is fine. I'm trying to make sure. I'm spending a second here, like verifying. Is that true? Is a 7 and 11 fine? How am I doing on overall numbers? Because I haven't left myself a lot of ability to generate middling. Well, I wouldn't be able to use generated middling values for combining anyway, because that's not how the game works. So for making an 18, we really want to be 9 and 9, but I've not left myself 2 9s. We have a 9, and it's actually like very awkward to access. All right. We can grab one of these 11s. By moving a 12 onto a 13. 11 plus 7 is 18. Criminy. If we don't get it this time, I will absolutely just switch it to Arabic numerals for the next one, because that is what is getting me. All right, 18. I need a 19 next. So we have an 8 left. We should probably try to combine that with an 11 as well, although we are starting to run low on 11s. Right? Or like a 9, run a 9 and a 10 together. Like, okay, so we can use this unusable 7 as a base here. Yeah, and just run a 9 and a 10 together. I don't actually think that's bad. Okay. So for 20, this would be like, this is the part where it feels to me like maybe you could start doing a couple of big combines on top of each other. If I go like this and just make my 26 for later, we can start like getting rid of some of these high value cards, right? This makes my 25. And then it feels like you want to use the other 13 if you can. Let's see, we can place these on here. I can break this to the other. Break this to the 13. Just peel an 11 off the top of this stack. That leaves me with a lot of 12s. Maybe it should just be 2 12s. Starting to get a little worried about the numbers. We're not bridging that much room, though. Like, there's not that much gap left to figure out. Okay, 24. So then 23. 23 on 10 plus 13 is not, like, horrible. Also, 11 and 12 is probably a little bit easier to actually do in terms of where the cards break. Although maybe not. It's here. I can pull this off of here, and we can do an 11 and a 12 to make 23. Then 22. So we have this 8 and this 13 left, and that could be how we do 21. This can be our 22. 8 and 13 makes 21. And then there's 20. And we had an accidental 7 and a 1, 2, 3 stack left over. That is more challenging for sure. You can't come at that as naively as I did on the first one. You really do have to be considering what resources you all have left over, kind of all the time. That's a cool one. I like that a bunch, actually. That's Transmutation. Okay, well, I think that probably puts us, that's about the hour. It's probably a good place to leave it for today. I'm having a blast with these, just getting to flex these different kinds of problem-solving muscles. I hope y'all are enjoying them as well. When you come back next time, of course, we have 2 more kind of spooky looking, maybe unusual solitaires to tackle. I'm guessing. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll do a really good job and hit 3. Come back next time to find out, and we'll see you then.